the food and the restaurant, this is who I am. This is in my blood. I mean, I eat and breathe food. So if someone stranger doesn't know me, they think it's something wrong with my head. Maybe I'm crazy. But you can say, yeah, I'm crazy. I'm crazy about food and creating, new dishes and new recipes.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. There are many cuisines and cultures that have had a huge impact on Australia's culinary landscape. And in recent years, food from the subcontinent, namely Indian and Sri Lankan, have been making waves. But the food of Bangladesh is not as common down under, and it has its own unique and profound beauty. Opel Khan is the owner of the Opel Khan group that includes Metisse and Khanaa. Opel, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I didn't list all of your restaurants there, which we can get into it. You're a very busy person, but you're on the have a new restaurant which delves into your own culture.
That's correct, yes.
Tell us a little bit about it.
So I guess, as you said, there's a huge web of Bangladeshi, Sri Lankan restaurants, globally and especially in Australia. But the Bangladesh cuisine is unknown. But if you look at, in fact, it's a lot of Indian restaurants owned by Bangladeshi, and I guess they're probably playing a little bit of secure because the cuisine is unknown and they probably don't want to take the risk. But, for me, being so long, nearly 3 decades in Australia running restaurants, and I thought, no, there's something I always want to do. Probably the whole thing came across 4 or 5 years ago that I want to do my own food. Even though I have, I've done an incredible, super fine dining French restaurant, which is Metisse, degustation only and everything. But between you and me, Anthony, my heart wasn't there. I do all this beautiful food. I've got an extremely busy Italian 2 restaurants, pizza and pasta. But then I said to myself, no, I want to cook something from my bottom of my heart. So that's why I created Khanaa. Khanaa means is eat or food in my language. But in fact, this is same sentence they use in 4 countries. So 2 billion people, my part of the region, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, this is one dialogue, is Khanaa. So if you go to someone's house, do you want a Khanaa or do you want to eat? So it's the same sentence.
Amazing. Tell us a little bit about Bengali food. I know it's quite different to some of the other countries in the subcontinent. Tell us a bit about it, what's so beautiful about it.
Sure. The Bengali food, we use a lot of fresh and very light sort of spicy ingredients. We eat a lot of seafood because, as you know, Bangladesh always flooded because of the, over 700 rivers and big Bengal Ocean. So our food, it is very similar to Indian or Pakistani or Sri Lankan food, but then it's more lighter approach to it. So our spice contents of the dishes probably be less than to some other, subcontinent cuisine. So that's to start with. And secondly, obviously at Khanaa, we taken even, 2 steps further. I don't want to do a lot of deep frying and a lot of, oil and a lot of, sugars and cashew nuts and cream in my food. I want to keep it more lighter and healthier. But same time, visually have to be absolutely stunning. So that's what we just started doing it. Today is our day 6. So far it's taking very, very nicely within the audience. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about some of the dishes that you have on the menu. I know you have the sort of finer dining restaurant, which you mentioned in Potts Point there, but tell us a little bit about the food here. Yeah.
Sure. So, everybody knows what is samosa is, so, which is, could be any kind of fillings, could be meat or vegetable, you make like a little triangle and deep fry it. But then what we do here, we do a beautiful duck leg confit. So the duck leg marinated with Bangladeshi spices. We confit it and then take out all the meat from the bone, and then we do like a little open samosa. So we also very big on, as I said, so we do a buckwheat flour, very thin filo pastry, and then we make a little beautiful tart shell case. So we do the duck leg confit, the mixture with potato and other light spices, and then we made a bit of orange and uzu gel. And then on top, we do fermented daikon. In Bangladesh, you call it mula. We eat every single dish. We as a side dish, little something to crunchy to eat with. I thought, okay, let's introduce all our my childhood memories elements to the dishes, but with a different technique and shape and structure. So then that's turned into like a the samosa, but it's not fried. And then the other one probably, you know how the French or even Australia, we have a crepe. You know, you can have a savory crepe or sweet crepes. In Bangladesh, you call it pita. So what it is, it's a rice flour and make it very thin, almost like a chapati, but very super thin. So we do a lobster. I know Australia, we have beautiful seafood products. We have lobster and prawn with the light, the green masala. We make a little like a almost like a mousse, and then we make the pita. Then we wrap it in that and we bake it in the oven, and then we serve with all the lobster and prawn shell. Make it almost like a bisque, but it's a more like a Bengali style, and then we make it very light, and we serve that one as a one of the dish.
Wow, it sounds amazing. What's it been like for you bringing a modern approach to the food of your heritage? Has there been challenges doing that?
Look, it is challenges. Look, it didn't happen overnight. I mean, I've been, every chef has a little test kitchen, and for me being a so many restaurant, my test kitchen probably a little bit better than some of my restaurant kitchen. So I've been working on this concept probably more than 5-6 years. I mean, if you look at history, like Scofield, he created, the noble French cuisine because French cuisine used to be so heavy, and then he came in and 300 years ago and created a special cuisine, and the whole world took. And then after, if you look at 30 years ago, Mr. Ferran Adria did that molecular gastronomy, and then whole world, all chef, we took that technique and doing it. So I thought, why we can't do some cuisine from our region and create something unique, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. The challenge, it can be done, yes, but how long it'll take? Maybe I started, maybe my daughter will take over from me, and then maybe next generation will finish it.
Well, I want to explore what you're doing there a little bit more further on in the conversation, but take us back to when you were young. Where did you grow up?
Yeah, I grew up in Bangladesh. Okay, so my father is from very modest, educated family, and my mom, India they call it Maharaja, and Bangladesh call it Jumida. So she's from the last royal family. So, how which is it's in a way disappointment, but maybe not. A lot of chefs, they say their first learning was their mother or grandmother, kitchen, but unfortunately I didn't have that opportunity because my mom and grandmother never cooked. So we had our 14th generation of house chef. And my first teacher could be my house chef's younger daughter, who was my good friend. So after the liberation, the 1971, and then after maybe late 70, before 80s, the Chinese restaurant went to Bangladesh, and everybody going to try the Chinese food. So I used to go and eat, and my dear friend, which is my house chef, the daughter, her name is Pia, and she said, how it tastes like? So then next day I went in with my mom for dinner. I said, I want everything takeaway. And I was a very little spoiled kid, were very demanding. She said, you already had a dinner. I said, no, I want to take it. And she knew exactly why. So I took this Chinese food back home and give it to Pia. And she tried. And next day, believe me, she 80% accurate the dishes. And she recreated. And I said, how'd you do that? I think I was 7 or 8 years old. She was maybe 14. She said, you put these, that. I said, let's do it together. And then she was my first teacher of cooking, And I'm so grateful for that because God gave us the incredible palate. And she taught me, you can have to test it first and then see what you're testing. So I can testing pepper, I can testing coriander. So that's it. Then what do you test next? So if anyone wants to know me, who is the first, the teacher or where you first trained, I trained from my friend Pia, which is our house cook daughter.
Was a career in food something you'd always thought about from then, or was it just a love of food at that stage?
I think just love of food, love of food. And then we came to Australia as a business magnet in 1988. And then my parents, they thought, they loved it, but they don't want to go back to UK. And that's what you wanted, I'll stay back. So I opened my first restaurant, believe me, an Indian restaurant in Newtown, used to call Indian Village, 1989. And I know nothing about it. I am plus a chef, just turned 17 or 18, and I loved it. And at the time, one of the publication came in and did a review and did very good review. And then Tuesday evening, it's a long queue, and I was living upstairs. My manager, come on, we need help. I said, why? He said, it's a queue outside. I said, why queue outside? He said, I don't know, just come in. So then after that, I opened Cook and Crown, and that way I met some of incredible chefs from UK and France, and then we all became a friend. I started cooking with them, and then age of 21, I opened 6 or 7 restaurants in Sydney, and then since then I never looked back.
Tell us about that period of time. It's a lot of restaurants to be opening at the age of 21. What was it like? What were the challenges for you?
Look, the challenge is obviously, you make mistake, and do they make mistake? Yes, and then two of us start. So I learned a lot of technique doing confit, doing souffle, and then I went to take a trip to London and Paris. Stayed there for a couple of years. I went a lot of places. I worked for free a lot of places. I don't want to mention names. But then remember I told you about Pia and my teacher, and she said that's how you do it. So I used to eat and try. I eat and try and they came back, and then then I start creating my own style of cooking by using this incredible technique. I mean, look, the French, one thing we have to agree, the discipline is incredible when it comes to cooking. So I learned the discipline. And then in my food, especially, these days, whenever I want to create a menu or dish, I don't actually look at cookbook or look at show. I look at what's the new cars, design, what is the new architecture, new fashion, the colors and structure. So I get the inspiration from there. Then I implement that one to my food. Otherwise, I find it's become a too similarity.
After this sort of trip that you did globally and you came back to Australia, what did you do?
So I came back to Australia, and then I worked, took a job at Claudine. Used to be a serious French restaurant in Chatswood Chase, as a very hardcore French owner. But I took it as a head chef. I was the longest living head chef in history. Year and a half. A lot of big chefs, a lot of big French chefs in Australia. I won't say name, and they brilliant chef, lucky to stay 3 months. So it was closing, and then I opened Beluga in Surrey Hill. You remember the Beluga Surrey Hill, and then I had Bar Espresso Bondi. I mean, then goes on and on. And then 2011, I opened up Pizza Boccone.
Tell us a little bit about Beluga in Surrey Hills.
So Beluga, probably I took the first, Beluga opened 2009. That was the first sort of push was to French-Indian concept.
Yeah.
Did you ever went to Beluga, or did you near?
I did, yeah, I remember it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was just in that near the Beresford.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah. Oh my God, you got good memories. So the Beluga, probably the first one, I pushed the boundary a little bit. And look, it did very well. And then once again, I got a massive consulting job in India, do a whole 5-star hotel, 7 restaurant. So I left Beluga. At that time. My wife, I had two daughters, which is the one is a chef now. They were 6 or 7 years old. So I left my poor wife to run Beluga. And she used to bring the kids after school, and they sit in the bar and doing, I still remember my little daughter, she used to make the little strawberry caviar out of strawberry juice, and sit in the bar with a little eye drop. So I went to India, I did a Le Méridien Hotel, I did all the restaurants and everything. And obviously not me being there and leaving my wife to run it. And then obviously, be honest with you, business it failed. And then I changed Beluga and I sold the Beluga. So once again, as I told you, in business, you have a failure, but then you don't take the negative, take the negative, put it into positive, and move on.
What was it like consulting in India? Do you have any stories of what it was like at that time?
Oh, you don't even start. So the Le Méridien Hotel, they're running for now they're 30 years. So after 25, so her husband. He passed away, and this Mrs. Singh, she pretty much owned quarter of New Delhi. So she told me 2 things. She told me, so you can change anything you want to change, but you cannot fire anyone from my team. They've been in my family for 25 years. So because the people are living so long, so there was a lot of resistance through the higher up, like executive chef and all these. So that was hard. That was hard, but then obviously I knew it's going to be hard. And the general manager, GM Hassan, said to me, Chef Opel, I can tell you, you have a lot of resistance because you're coming and changing everything. Hopefully going to change everything after 25 years. So that wasn't easy, but at the end, when I performed, then they realized that, yeah, I'm putting them in the right direction. And so I was there nearly on and off 6 months. So I did 5 restaurants. So I changed the whole way of, how the restaurant and, brasserie and everything can run in that part of the world. And they're very successful now.
You've got 4 restaurants in the portfolio at the moment, and you mentioned Acqua E Farina. Tell us about the beginnings of the group and what it was like getting these restaurants up and running.
So obviously, so the OK Group I started just second lockdown of COVID, and then obviously once again in the COVID time, a lot of my dear restaurant owner and all this, they couldn't sustain the business. But then COVID time, I have nothing to do, and then I saw this little space for lease on McLean Street. It's a little tiny little, I think it was fish and chips or something like that. So I rang the real estate. I said, listen, I'm interested, but you have to give me a very good deal. It's COVID. It's everything closed. So I got a really good deal. and then I got my builder. I said, look, you can work certain time of the day, as you know. So then I actually opened Acqua E Farina after second lockdown of COVID, during the second lockdown. And so I thought, and at the time, my general manager, Valdek Rai, which is at Metisse Group, he was bored and he's an incredible, passionate person. He goes to me, Chef, I'm so bored. Please let me do something, Because I kept all my stuff on, believe me or not. And even though it was hard, they all get paid. I told them downstairs, big dry search, come in, any food you want to take. Any one you can take, but don't take the expensive one. Believe me, none of them came take one bottle of wine, not even one grab of flour. He said, no, you paying us, that's more than enough. So anyway, so then we opened the Acqua E Farina. I just bought a pasta machine and doing, the COVID did probably a lot good to me because that time I created so many new recipe, new dishes. I created how to make a perfect pasta, nice and soft and silky. I created how I can do incredible gluten-free pasta because I've got so much time. We all have so much time in the hand. What do you do? No point complaining about it. Just do something with it. So that's where you open now. It's become so busy. Then I took it the next door. It's still not enough. So we do very simple, clean fried pasta with the beautiful local ingredients, and that's it. That's all you get.
You also have Metisse in the group, which is in a famous location that's had restaurants like Gastro Park previously. It jumps into that sort of love of French cuisine that you have. Tell us a bit about it.
So obviously, when I was running Pizza Boccone, which is Landkiller Place Post Point, so, every now and then I should go for work. And Gastro Park was there. I always used to admire, that building, the whole thing. And I said, what a beautiful restaurant. We would love to have something like this one day. And before you know, and then landlord came to Pizza Boccone and said, look, you'd be interested because between Gastro Park and I, there had a few pop-up. I'm not sure if you remember or not. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Athlete and a few other pop-up. And then I took that spot and I said, look, I want to do Metisse, which is mixed race, which is my wife. She's a country girl from young. I'm Bangladeshi, and my 2 daughters obviously mixed. So I thought when I Googled the name, it was free. I said, how could that possible? I started to register the name. And that's exactly that I created Metisse. Obviously, when you came in, it was like mentally madhouse. Well, I think, do you agree? I think we had too many tables and chairs. And then after you review and everything, we went back, drawing board, and then I turned into only deck restaurant only because I thought this is the best to do about it. And from 72-seater restaurant, I turned into 38. So at the moment, only 38-seater restaurant now. But you probably don't know, Metisse, I'm moving to city. Yeah, it's going to go to somewhere in a water view location. In fact, yesterday was the final brief with my architect. And then Acqua E Farina, I'm moving to Metisse location because I need the biggest space.
Amazing.
And then 3 more in pipeline.
You're always busy. Will Metisse, the new incarnation, will that be a bit different to what we've seen?
No, I think so. The new location is 680 square meters, massive. So there'll be two restaurants into one. So Metisse is still going to be as a countertop, like an open kitchen in the middle. So I have a 4 times 8, 32 people sit on the bar, and our pretty much team will serve, and it'll be a bit more high end than to what I'm doing Metisse now. And then Metisse Bistronomy will be very casual. You can have beautiful, coq au vin or beef bourguignon or a beautiful burger, and it's very simple sort of casual concept. And then Metisse, that's who I am, a super technical degustation restaurant.
How do you manage such different sites and different offerings and maintain their success?
Okay, first of all, you got to be super focused. You cannot be a little bit off rail, then you lose the plot. The two things I do, I always manage to find one very good general manager and one very good head chef. And then what I do, I bring them to one of my. So before I opened Khanaa, I picked up my general manager for Khanaa and my head chef for Khanaa. They worked with me 2 months, more than 2 months in Metisse. You can't really get someone and within a week you think they're going to do miracle. I'm sure they're going to do miracle, but then they have to understand your vision. They have to go inside your head. So that's exactly what I do, or what I did. So I pick a team, train them up, day and night. And then when I see yes, they're ready to take over. And then, so that's exactly what I did. So I opened Khanaa now, my team running it. And fortunately, my 2 daughters got involved. So the one in from the house and Chef Lucy in the kitchen. So the Khanaa is set now. So then now I can move into the next project.
What's it like for you opening Khanaa? You've spent your career cooking French and also Indian cuisine. Has it had an impact on you delving into your own culture and cuisine?
No, I think this I found it very exciting. I want to showcase my food. And hopefully one day when I get a chance, you'd come and try it. So I think you probably said the right thing. So the French technique, I've been cooking for the last 30 years. I get the essence of the technique and the discipline, and then implement that style of the discipline and the technique to my style of food.
When it comes to dish creation, is it a collaborative thing with your daughters, or is it something that you create and they do?
No, I think I create first. And then what happened is my biggest critic, maybe she wasn't you, my wife. Nothing is good for her. I guess she pushed the boundary to the max. So then I created this. Then I never give it to my wife because I know it's not going to be good. So my 2 daughters try and they say that it's great. How about if you what do you think is this and that? I mean, 50% of them they're right, 50% of them they're not. And when all done, then I give it to my wife and she tried. But still nothing is good. So that's how we work. But we have a very good team. My wife is very heavily involved in the business. She ran Boccone, and then she actually, probably the backbone of all of my success, and she supported me 100%. Half of the time she's running around, picking up things, dropping things,
If there's people out there that's never had Bengali food, how would you describe it to them?
Just come and try. Because it's very hard, because there's like yesterday I have a group of 5 came in, and as you know the spot is a complete open, and they're reading the menu. Oh, there's no butter chicken. And I said, oh my God. And I said, look, no butter chicken, but try it. And then at the end, so my God, we never thought, they're from Bangladesh, so, and then they realize, it's like, hang on, this is not going to be your Vindaloo butter chicken and garlic naan restaurant. It's going to be something different, and at the end was always good.
Well, you have an amazing knack to deliver some pretty incredible restaurants in the last couple of years. What do you love about what you do?
I get good kick out of it. Otherwise, I get bored. I think I've got some other business and all this. Let's not get into that. But the food and the restaurant, this is who I am. This is in my blood. I eat and breathe food. Sometimes 4 o'clock in the morning, I go, no, that's not good. And my wife said, are you creating a recipe in your head? So, sometimes I create something, even I go, no, this doesn't go. And even myself, I talk. So if someone stranger doesn't know me, they think it's something wrong with my head. Maybe I'm crazy. But you can say, yeah, I'm crazy about food and creating, new dishes and new recipes.
Well, Opel, it's amazing to catch up with you and very exciting to see the opening of Khanaa. Please keep in touch.
Sure. When are you going to come for dinner? Try the Bengali food.
I would love to.
Bring your team. Bring your team. We're nice. Nice to see you. I haven't seen you for 3.5 years, 4 years now.
I think so. We'll have to do that.
And I love your show. I love it. Honestly, I'm not telling you I'm in air, but honestly, I was wondering when you're going to call me to come to your show. And I waited 2.5 years. Took you that long.
It did, but we got there. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Well, please keep in touch, and we'll have to come in and catch up soon.
And thank you very much again. Once again, nice to talk to you. Take care.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. Stay tuned as we take a deep dive into the lives of the incredible people who ply their trade in the food and hospitality sector. Special thanks to executive producer Rob Locke for making this all happen. Follow us on Instagram at Deep in the Weeds Podcast or email us at podcast@deepintheweeds.com.au. Stay safe and be well.